This significance of glaucoma. Here you can see this is the florid type of neovascularization. In these cases, I don't know what Abhijit can say. Anti-VEGF will regress this or not, I don't know. But in these cases, we cannot go for the trabeculotomy, and for to lower the intraocular pressure, aqueous drainage device should be tried first. If it doesn't work, we can go for the cryoablation. The basic principles of the glaucoma drainage devices. The most basic principle is the ability to remove the aqueous out of the anterior chamber without causing hypotony. In all this is a refractory type of cases. And in all refractory types of universal glaucoma is the number one. Second criteria is to maintain is a long-term lowering of the intraocular pressure in low teens. Because in low teens, we can keep the eye, the optic nerve can be retained. Glaucoma drainage devices implantation is usually reserved for the cases with refractory glaucoma, what I was telling, or those unlikely to respond successfully to the conventional filtration surgery. And in those cases, number one always comes the neovascular glaucoma and others are there. Just I want to share it. This is the case of pseudophakic patient. There is some neovascularization you can see. You can see the neovascularization there. In these cases, if I don't want to do a valve implant, first I want to regress the rubeosis to get a very good success. This one to highlight, this is a case I've got one. The patient came to us a mature cataract with the rubeosis iridis, but the rubeosis iridis was a thin one. So the plan was the patient has the clear vision. USG showed no detachment or traction, anything there. That's been something else has happened on the retina, most probably hemorrhage or CRB or something like that. Patient is a diabetic. So I took a chance as the case of the just PR is there. Sometimes it's coming to accurate, sometimes inaccurate. So I gave intracameral anti-VEGF eccentric to this patient and went on for the cataract surgery. Then after that, I put the patient to send the patient to retina surgeon. They saw it, there was CRVO long-standing, they did a pan photocoagulation and intravitreal injection of anti-VEGF. And after a long time, patient was not controlling still. Sometimes the neovascular was coming. So I planned for the glaucoma drainage device. I'm following this patient for the last 3 years. He still has some vision, at least for 1 meter, something like that. He's happy. So these activities you have to go for it, right, for the patient. Coming to the TVT study, it supports the expanding use of tube shunts beyond the surgical management of refractory glaucoma. The TVT study also demonstrated that low levels of IOP can be achieved with the tube shunts in this patient group, which challenges the conventional wisdom. According to the TVT study, the frequency of post-operative intervention was higher in the trap group. The tube group had a higher rate of choroidal hemorrhages, and also the tube group had the same rate of mortality disturbances in some cases where we have seen in KVR using the before we are using the Burwell valve, although monitor was a big type of valve with that. But with the AMET valve, it is less, but it may happen. Normally, two types of devices we use in India, most probably, is AMET glaucoma valve and ADI, the Indian name. In the AMET glaucoma, it has low risk of immediate hypotony because it is a valve. But it has a hypertensive phase about 2 weeks to 1 month when you have to give lots of Diamos tablet to lower the intraocular pressure and requires more anti-glaucoma medicine on long-term treatment. In case of ADI, there is a high risk of hypotony if it is unligated because it is not a valve, it is a one-way traffic. So you have to ligate, keep it for at least 1 month to make a pool where the aqueous will be drained at the later part and the posterior part between two muscles where the body of the valve is there. Then slowly we have to cut the suture, you'll get a good valve action. So ligated time, IP is still high. high IOP till the suture dehiscence is occur. We have to like it because we use the aid of Vicryl in those types of cases, and that's because the Vicryl is the graded one. It loses its stitch, so there's a loose stitch, and that was worse. Advances in therapy, glaucoma drainage devices has been designed for bypassing the congenital scarring at the level of the limbus. Advent glaucoma has a high efficacy and a safety profile when compared with the other traditional filtering procedures. Advent glaucoma valve implantation can be recommended as a primary surgery in particular types of glaucoma phenotypes. I have no financial interest. And this is Abdul Mateen, who first, or he's the person who made the Advent glaucoma glass, the FP7 and FP8 model is for the adult, this for the pediatrics group. And this how is the valve works. It is a valve which where there's a silicon membrane which opens up when the pressure is intraocular pressure is high, and again close when the intraocular pressure is low. So this is the two videos I will show you. Number one video is a Ahmed glaucoma valve is being used. Is a pseudophakic glaucoma. We had high intraocular pressure with this neovascularization. Anti-VEGF was given, neovascular reduced. There's a plan for surgery was done to go directly for the Ahmed glaucoma valve. First, we do the priming of the valve to see the potential of the valve. Next, just put the valve. It should be about 8 millimeter from the limbus. It should be fixed with the nylon, ideally. And there's a hole in the valve where it is fixed with the sclera. The two holes are there. By the 2 points, we can split the hole away. Otherwise, it will slowly go backward and it will be lost in the posteriorly, the orbit. So you have to fix the valve. Same thing happens with the other side. There's a hole. This is a very critical part. I'm not a retina surgeon because they do very, very intrascleral suture. We are very scared because there may be puncture. We have to be very careful. After that, you have to bevel it up at least 2 to 3 millimeter with a 23 gauge needle. Go direct over the iris towards the anterior chamber. We put some viscoelastic to deepen the anterior chamber, and slowly the valve tube is being placed inside. And you have to fix the tube because there is a chance the tube may go backward, and there won't be any aqueous drainage from the anterior chamber. So I fix the tube with that same nylon, with the Dyno or Teno, whatever is available, but it should not be too tight. Then from cadaveric sclera, the patch graft with the sclera is given about 4 to 5 millimeter. The stitch towards the sclera. I'll take a little more time. There lots of time is there. The sclera has been fixed. And you got to separately, you have to stitch both tenons in the interrupted suture and the conjunctival and continuous suture. Sometimes the anterior chamber, we have to get a viscoelastic to form the anterior chamber. So the slowly comes. This is a case why I want to discuss. There's a case of return detachment operation done years back. And after that, with the plumb, the girdle plumb was given as a 360 plumb, and the eye was something that's a pear-shaped eye. The patient said he was 2 to 3 millimeter mercury diopter before the operation. After that, the diopter changed to -10. So I thought that's a axial length has increased because of the tightening of the plumb. But somehow or other, there was intraocular pressure rise, secondary glaucoma with neovascularization. So I consulted the retina surgeon. They said you can remove the plumb, but I don't think the trap will work. You can go for the valve. I did go for the valve. And also the retina surgeon couldn't find anything in the retina back. I don't know if just because the high intraocular pressure, there was rebosis. So this is the operation. First, I tried to remove the plumb. In this case of plumb, we don't know where the stitches are given or where it is fixed to the sclera. Ideally, it should be done by the retina surgeons to remove the plumb. But somehow I got some stitch here, the fixing stitch. I removed it. Now look at the plumb. I don't know the other stitches has been were there or just is that dissolved. I don't know. One stitch came out. Now the plumb is coming out. It's not the ideal way to pull it, but somehow I was lucky. Nothing happened. It came out smoothly. Now these types of plumb are very rarely used after the cause of vitrectomy. And this same area, I put the valve. The lots of scarring is there because I said before, after any retina surgery, there is scarring. Fixing the plate of the valve with a nylon suture. The normal procedure as for the before, 23 gauge needle, just open the antechamber. The tube is inserted inside. The patch graft. And it's a suture. You can see the tube inside, but it will regress a little when the chamber forms and the intraocular pressure will rise. So
Retina was
now
attached.
yeah,
Retina was attached in this case.
yeah, retina was attached. Nothing was happening with retina. Retina was flat detachment. There was no detachment. Retina flat. It was good
And
reaction.
another question can I do?
Sure.
Can I ask that? In our institute, lots of people putting the tube in the posterior chamber after
Yes.
sort of vitrectomy
The
and vitreous.
vitrectomy. Now
How
it's
it is
coming to that.
different?
No, it works much better if we go for the good vitrectomy in these types of cases.
No, but
Because
if you
in the
put in anterior chamber and put you in the posterior chamber, does it make any difference with the device?
the problem is that in the anterior chamber, if you put there may be the cornea touch, there may be the iris touch, and there if there is a phakic patient, there may be the lenticular touch also, which can lead to complication. So if we can go for a very good posterior vitrectomy, where there is no vitreous tract and it's less inside the of the pars plana root, it works much better, no doubt.
Okay.
We do a lot of cases. Now coming to the Indian type, that's the made in India. This is the person, George Putram. who made the aqueous drainage device same like that of the Burwell valve. So this is a Adi aqueous Arolab part. Orolab aqueous drainage implant is a non-resistant tube device based on the Burwell implant. It reduces the intraocular pressure by draining aqueous tube from the antechamber into the subconscious space. And this is the small video clip of the Adi. You can say this is quite a big one and it's posted in the. This is a ligation is a must because it's a non-valve one. So you can find also the Adi was there. Just I want to be, just want to tell, these two types of valves are all the Indian made. One is the Indian Auto Group, is a total Indian, and also Dr. Mate, who is from India now, is a Indian American now, but he is an Indian Lucknow person. So these are post-operative cases of the neovascular glaucoma in one case. You see, there's a very good, there's no neovascularization after the good retinal surgeon worked on it, and the patient is doing fine. This is another one. And this is a case of typical case of what I was telling in the angle closer stage where you get the ectropy and UV is all totally angle closed. After the valve, the eye is quite quiet. Now that the cataract is there, we have to remove it. And I think the patient will get a good vision. If I go, if I go for this one, this is another case where you see, but obviously what I was telling you, this is a cornea touch is there. You can see the cornea touch and lots of posterior signing
Yes.
here after the uveitis is there. So these things happens.